Alright, so what we're doing today is another little mini experiment. Now, I sometimes will wash yeast, and I have a video on how I do that, and I have pretty good results getting a clean yeast amount. But yesterday, or day before, I was kegging a beer, and I hadn't even thought about washing the yeast. I wasn't going to do it, wasn't on my mind. But then by the time I was done kegging, I thought, oh, maybe I do need this yeast. So what I did is I just dumped as much of the slurry as would come out into this sanitized quart jar. Today, I thought, oh, I wonder if I can wash this and just clean it up. Now, I could probably just use this. A lot of you do that. You either rack the beer off and put fresh wort onto the slurry, onto the yeast cake, or you collect it and then you dump it into the next batch of wort. I believe that works. But I like to just sort of clean things up a little bit. So I already boiled and cooled some water earlier. This is the this is all the slurry. I put some of the boiled water in here. So the idea is if I get all this in here with as much water as I can get in here, swirl it up, I don't know why it wouldn't settle out like it would if I had done it yesterday. So that is what we're going to try to do. I've never done this exact sort of process, so we'll have to see. I did anticipate some gloppiness, I think is the scientific term, and I am experiencing that, so I'm going to, I reserved some of this water. So we're going to go like this. And it's all boiled and cooled, and you know, hopefully things are sanitary enough. This is not a science lab, so you know, I'm not overly concerned. Well, there's just a little bit more in there since I have some more water, and since I have some more water space in the 1 gallon glass jug, I might as well just keep adding it in. So what we're going to do is get it all in here. Alright, so that's good. Let's see how much more water I can... Actually, I'm going to swirl it up before I get too crazy with that, so I have a little bit of room. Okay, I mean that's well swirled. I'm going to start my stopwatch. Keep an eye on that. I'm going to top it off with water. So what I'm thinking I'll do, usually what happens when I do this is I do this part in the primary fermenter. And for me that's a 5-6 gallon plastic butter bottle thing, or a 6 gallon glass jug, and then I swirl it up and actually lay it on its side and block it off so it doesn't roll, and then it settles down, and then I can just lift it up and pour it out. So this is sort of like the first stage of that, and then I pour the primary fermenter into a glass gallon jug, and then that settles, and then I pour it into, you know, whatever kind of containers I want. So this is an experiment. This is, I don't know if I mentioned, the Belgian Imperial high gravity Belgian, which is, I just looked at it, triple double, I think. It's their Trappist high gravity one, I think. So I'm going to keep an eye on the watch, and we'll see how it's filtering out and see what happens. So it's been almost 20 minutes, and I think you can see that at the bottom there's definitely a layer of stuff that is the stuff that we don't want. And even you can kind of see right in here is even a clearer layer. So if I was to let it sit even longer, more would settle out. But I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and transfer it to the next washing station. So we'll do that, and we'll reset the clock and continue on with this. Okay. So this other gallon jug is sanitized. The funnel has been re-sanitized. And at this point, I can fill this fairly full because there's just going to be this stuff on the bottom that I'm trying to keep an eye on, although it's hard to kind of see. You know, I'm not going to obviously pour this whole thing in there because that would be kind of pointless. I think that'll do it. So we will reset the stopwatch. Now this time could end up being longer than 20 minutes if I want this part here that I'm actually going to keep to be even cleaner. But at the end of the day, if this works, and I don't know what I'm going to brew next, so it's just kind of nice to not have a slurry sitting there for 2 to 4 weeks plus, when really I think it's better just to have a more of a cleaner pull of the yeast, but we will see. It's been about a half hour, maybe a little over, and again there's another layer on the bottom, and this part on the top of that bottom layer looks similar to what it usually does when I pour it into the jars. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. This is just the same sort of thing I usually do. And then what I might do for the purpose of this video, which is kind of fun, is give it a number of days and then see what it actually looks like in the bottom of these jars, and then you can kind of see what yeast you've collected. Usually with this type of thing, I will still make a starter. It just gives the yeast a chance to wake up and get going. I probably could do another little jar too, but honestly this is not even really sure what I'm going to use this yeast for. I think because it is a Belgian yeast, I was thinking I could do a Belgian IPA. I've done that before. But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff in here that I'm sure has a lot of yeast, but these are sanitized. I got the sanitized lids. I'll cap them off and put them in the fridge. Okay, to wrap this up, it's been about 3 or 4 days since I did the washing, and as you can see, I have what I expect to see when I do this type of thing. A nice little bit of quote-unquote cleaner or washed yeast in the bottom of these containers. Now, I would still probably make a starter just to be on the safe side and just to get it reactivated. I might not have to, but I guess the moral of the story here is if you want to wash up a slurry, you don't have time on kegging day, you just want to save the slurry, wash it up later, or in my case I hadn't even planned on washing it, you can do it later. Do it the next day or so and still get the same result, which I kind of figured would be the case, but just wanted to give it a try and document the process. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.